He put me on the bed and he was just kicking on my lower back, and it was so painful. It was so painful.
I tried to hang myself and it was extremely painful, and the hospital staff intervened before I could finish. Oh, is this going to be a problem? I couldn't tell my brother anything because it was part of our wedding vows not to tell anybody what goes on between the two of us. My husband is 15 years older than me, and after about 6 weeks of dating, we got married without telling any of my family members.
The time I got married, I devoted myself to my husband, started learning things which will make him and his family happy. And to make him happy means to take his permission for every small and big things.
Within the first month of marriage, I became extremely suicidal because he used to control everything in my life. What time I wake up, what I eat, what I wear. He used to control who I can speak to, who I can call over to my house.
Initially, I did not notice it, but what he was doing was he wasn't letting me spend time with my family and friends at all.
I was without a phone for several months. He had made me chew up my SIM card. He also made me chew up my ATM card. He made me delete all my social media accounts, all my email IDs, so that I couldn't communicate with anybody without him knowing. And then ultimately he would convince me that whatever he's making me do is for my own good.
People don't understand that abusive relationships are also very bipolar, because a person knows that they're harming you. They also tend to be extremely loving and extremely caring in the moments that you're not fighting, because they're trying to balance, they're trying to get over the guilt.
So I always thought that it was just safer to agree with him. Especially because after a few days of conflict, he would suddenly shower me with affection. He would give me a lot of compliments. He would buy me a lot of gifts. He would take me out. So I ended up being really confused. And I actually thought that he loves me a lot.
The kind of relationship I have lived with this person, I have not seen in any film or not read in a book. So it was something which was absolutely crazy, because the fights started getting so aggressive and so violent that on some days I thought that he would end up killing me. The moment he slapped me, actually, I was stunned, and it was like, you see in films that the time stops. It was something like that. And he was so sorry about it. He started crying. So somehow, instead of him, he was apologizing to me, and then I realized that I was calming him down, and I was the one who had just got hit, and that was the nature of the relationship, that whatever happened, he played the victim.
I felt really guilty about bad-mouthing him to my brother. So I confessed to him that I had called him a monster. And he asked me what I want to do to make up for it. And I said anything. So he asked me to take my clothes off. And after he stripped me, he made me do sit-ups, like uthak baithak. And he asked me to do 200 of them, but I could only do 50, and after that I just begged for mercy. And while I was doing the sit-ups, he was recording me on a phone.
People still in a society who cannot believe that a husband can rape his wife.
It was Diwali morning. He decided that there's nothing better we can do right now. इसको माँ बना दे तो ही ये सुधरेगी. And so he raped me that morning.
Quite a few times he would give me rape threats. Like he would say that I'll get 100 men to rape you. How do you respond to something like that? Whether that person is your partner, your husband, or that person could be any other guy on the road or anything. When someone says I'll get 100 men to rape you, you don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know, we stay in a society where if you talk about rape, everybody wants blood of rapist. फांसी की सजा दे दो and get them killed on the road, castrate them. Rape is the most heinous crime, but domestic violence is okay. I mean, both are non-consensual. All violence is non-consensual. So why is rape worthy of capital punishment and domestic violence? No, please stick with him. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. You'll be fine.
He became more violent whenever I refused to have sex with them. There has been nights when I was slapped, beaten up because I refused for having sex. And I don't know what people would like to call it, like where I am begging and crying that I'm not ready for it. I cannot have it. I don't want to do it. And your husband is like on top of, he needs to do it. He needs to do he just needs to.
I remember he had just put me on the floor and he was kicking me in the stomach, and it was just so physically unbearable to take that. Sorry. No, I'm good. So it was like humans have survival instinct, right? So my body wanted to stop him from hitting me, and that's why there was no other way than hitting him back, because I was trying to survive that situation.
I had again run away from home to try and kill myself, and I was waiting on the roof of a high building, just waiting for the courage to jump off. And I thought maybe if I call him, I would change my mind. So I called him, but he didn't pick up. I rushed back, and the door was locked, and he wasn't opening or answering the phone. So I snuck inside from the balcony. I got my son back from my parents-in-law's house. He was being babysat, and I was putting him to sleep. I was breastfeeding him to sleep when my husband woke up. He was surprised to see me inside the house, and he just lost it, and he beat me up. He kept hitting my face, my limbs, my body, and I let him hit me because I thought that I deserved it for running away again. So these fights were so ugly that he would lock me outside of the house. One of these moments where I was waiting outside the door, I decided that I'm fed up of all of this. I'm done with this. And that was when I decided that I'm going to end this marriage for good. I took my son to my in-laws' place, and I started preparing to leave for Chandigarh for good. And when he found out that I'm really serious about this, he came over there and he beat me up again.
It's more than physically getting hurt. There's a humiliation that someone can hit you like that they don't treat you like a human.
I would have breakdowns where I would scream, I would break things, I would hit myself a lot. So he kept using all of this against me. He convinced me that I'm the one with the violence problem, and that's why I never reported his violence. I thought that either I deserved it or I had it coming for being violent myself.
This whole stigma of a woman should not be alone. लड़की अकेली नहीं रहनी चाहिए. तो she can be with a monster, she can sleep with a monster every night, and she can spend her entire life getting oppressed by a person sleeping right next to her, but she should not be alone. Like, as a middle class person, I can come here, I can talk about it, and I can go to a therapist after breakup and I can heal myself, which millions of women in this country don't have the privilege to do that.
I wasn't supposed to be a mother at 24. But it did happen, and instead of focusing on what should have happened or what shouldn't have happened, I focus on what is the reality. The reality is that I am responsible for this child, and I have to do everything for him to grow up to be a strong, happy individual. It all just seems worth it because it all happened so that this new person could exist, and he is such a brilliant child, and I'm really happy that everything that happened ended up in our relationship as mother and son.
I get up early and sleep late. Keep my knowledge up to date. If I want a break, I wait till I deserve it. But as hard as I try to simplify, keep working or else you'll cry. The truth is, I'd almost die if I addressed my pain. And when loneliness gets to me, or I realize that you don't see a reason to work things out with me, I focus. Focus on making our son laugh, never letting him feel that he only has half. Keep his progress an accelerating graph, because I forgive us both.